Now tell me
Things
something.
happen, right?
Is Koch Records part of the Koch brothers, the wealthy Koch? Because it's spelled the same way.
It's pronounced differently, though. That's Koch and they're Coke.
You're sure it's not the same?
Oh, definitely not.
Oh, good.
I mean, Michael Koch, you know, I work with him every day. Because then we started a record label, and that's when Bob Frank got involved. We
Right.
started right then I went, you know.
Yeah, because Bob Frank is now putting out some of the Bottom Line
Right.
series for Alan Pepper, which we discussed when I talked to him recently.
So from starting this label with Shawnee, I mean, nobody knew what Shawnee was. Maybe a bunch of Irish musicians knew what it was. It's an Irish. But in my world, well, in most worlds, nobody knew what the hell Shawnee
Now you
was.
said Irish musicians. Immediately, then I remember Pat Kenny and Kenny's Castaways.
Right.
Do you have any good stories about Kenny's Castaways? You remember
Yeah, I
Kenny's
know.
place?
I remember him great when he was up on 85th Street.
Yeah, up on the Upper East
Right,
Side.
and I had Jerry Jeff Walker play up there, and a whole bunch of
Because I played there, and then there's a place called Brandy's up there.
Brandy's, right. I think I saw you.
You did see me play there.
Yes.
I think, yeah.
Oh, that was on the avenue, right?
Yeah.
Holy mackerel, that's great.
And then Pat Kenny moved down to the Village
Right.
when NYU was redoing the whole area there, and he moved Kenny's Castaways down there.
Almost next to the
Bitter
Right,
End.
right.
And he had the Irish Rovers whenever they were in town. Really
Great bunch of guys.
Yeah. So then from the jazz scene there, from doing the label situation,
Right.
then did you move more into management after that? What happened after that?
No. Like I said, I had a disagreement with the guy who owned Shawnee.
Uh-huh.
It was about paying royalties to one of the acts that I had signed there.
Uh-huh.
It was due
He
royalties.
needed royalties and he wasn't getting them.
And so they bought me out, and I called up Danny Goldberg, who was the president of Atlantic Records at the time. Right?
Had he done Gold Mountain yet? Had he started?
Oh, he had Gold Mountain way before that, yeah. And he did go back to Gold Mountain as well, but Danny had left. He was bought out of his position at Atlantic Records. Doug Morris had left. And I told Danny that, hey, I know an act out of Seattle by the name of Laura Love who's great. So he said, all right, let's go out and see her. So she was playing in Indianapolis, and we flew out to Indianapolis, and he flipped out over her, you know. And then at that hotel that night, he got a call from his lawyer saying that the position of president of Mercury was offered to him.
Really?
So he took it. I was actually the first guy he hired, although he hired me as more of a consultant.
Uh-huh.
But you know, it was a real hire.
At Mercury?
Yes, and we signed Laura Love. You know, that's
cool.
basically I was his first signing.
Cool.
That was really cool. We did really nicely with Laura. In those days, you know, if you sold 70 or 80,000 records, that was okay. It wasn't great.
Now today,
That's
you
really
70,000 records.
Right.
Great.
Right. She was really unique, and I had seen her at Carnegie Hall. And I was hanging out with Aztec Two-Step, Neil.
Uh-huh.
And Neil was playing that night, so he said, Dave, just send my wife. I got these tickets, keep her company. So I said, okay. So we go up. So, and all of a sudden I see Laura perform. She comes out with the bass player, and she's dancing, clogging as well as.
So it was backstage in Carnegie
No,
Hall?
we're sitting in the seats above it. I was sitting in the seats with Neil.
From Aztec Two-Step.
And his
Okay.
wife.
Okay, so go ahead.
So Neil's asking me, I guess he hadn't gone on yet, or he had gone on, and he came back to sit with us. And he said, Dave, what do you look for as an A&R guy? And I said, I can't really put my finger on it, but I know it when I see it. All of a sudden, Laura Love comes on stage. I said to Neil, that's what I look for. And I ran back after the stage and met her and introduced myself. And after about 2 years, I finally signed it.
All right, now tell me more about now. That's enough for the past. What are you doing now, David? What are you up to now?
So right now, I'm living in Florida.
Where we are right now in your kitchen.
Right. Trying to cut back a little bit,
Okay.
you know, because I just don't really enjoy what's out there as well. So I was invited to Ottawa for the Ontario Council of Folk Festivals. And I was watching this showcase, and actually brought my wife up that nice weekend. And she saw this band on stage, the Sultans of String. I gave my card. They gave my card to their Canadian manager, Lisa Whites. And she said, wow, you really should talk to Dave. He's got a lot of, you know. So anyway, I'm managing them. I'm the U.S. manager. Lisa is their Canadian manager. We work together.
What's happening with them now?
Oh, they're just coming out with their fifth album. Everything these guys do is interesting. That's why I'm working with them like for 5 or 6 years, right? And I also manage a young woman who's a great musician. by the name of Heather Pearson, and she's a great singer, great songwriter, great musician, you know. And I saw her in the hotel lobby playing piano, and I went over to her and said, wow, you really, I had no idea she was a singer or a songwriter. Then when she gave me the CD, I'm driving home that next day, I said, whoa, cool. So I handled her, and I still handle on and off various Canadian clients.
Okay, so you're still a busy boy.
Yeah, not to
Cool.
be busier.
Well, thanks much for doing this with me. I appreciate sitting down with me and going through all this.
Yeah, it's
And as I said, it'll be up on my website for the book. The book, Sex, No Drugs, and Rock and Roll, Memoirs of a Music Junkie. I don't know where the camera is. But thanks again, David.